All right, wonderful. So welcome to, depending upon what time zone you're on, it is Monday, September 27th for me here in Mexico. We are our product intelligence team. So our first point is Alina, not on the call. So I'll go ahead and vocalize a little bit of what she's talking about, and we'll see if we have some discussion. So let's see. What is this? Actually, I don't know. It's something related to Redis tracking. Let me just open it. Oh, there was an incident. Oh, okay, I remember this. This happened on like Thursday evening, my time. So there was an incident. It wasn't actually causing a performance issue, but it was originally thought to have been causing a performance issue later after they validated it further. There was something in the code that allowed it to fail, and it's just a bug. So Alina is asking, do we have any ideas of what we can do to prevent these cases from happening in the future? Perhaps we should not allow to track events dynamically. Nicholas, also not here, says that he'd be fine with that. We have other cases where do we have other cases where dynamic tracking is required? I don't know if the team here has any thoughts on this that you'd like to discuss.
Yeah, just a comment on that. Long term, I think we're gonna be looking to move away from HLL to Snowplow once we figure out the situation with Snowplow on self-managed. So once we have that, this problem shouldn't really apply, because with a Snowplow event, there are certain fields where you can put dynamic data. So if we are looking for a solution, it'll be in the shorter term. We don't have to worry about something, yeah. Like maybe if it's not a huge problem, maybe we don't have to worry about it, or maybe there's a quick fix. I guess the quick fix is to just maybe discourage dynamic information in there.
I don't fully understand the technical issue that was caused by this, but I understand that it's related to Redis tracking. Is there, like, let's imagine a world where we're not supporting Redis anymore because we've shifted completely to Snowplow, which to actually shift completely to Snowplow will be some time away, right? We'll be in a world where Redis still exists, but we're no longer maintaining it. We're not adding to it. We're maintaining it, but not adding to it. But let's pretend like we're in the world where it's just Snowplow. Is there ever something that we need to consider when we're coding to prevent dynamic tracking? Or are you saying, Ali, this is just not an issue with Snowplow world because there's
yeah, in Snowplow, dynamic tracking is fine. It's really just about what fields you use. Like we have certain conventions of like X and Y fields can be used for dynamic information related to the event. So we have lots of space for dynamic information in Snowplow events and lots of flexibility.
Got it. So what we need to do as a next step is vet how big of a deal is this bug? Does it hurt us enough to have to fix it in the short term? Or is it something we could live with? How do we answer that question?
I think we'll have to do a little bit of technical investigation to see what the root cause of this is. Okay. At a glance, I'm not entirely sure, but I feel like what happens with HLL counters is if you have dynamic data, it'll create like a new counter. So for example, if you're tracking CI template A and B and C and whatever else, each new variant gets its own counter, which I believe would use more space in Redis. So that's my guess without diving too deep into this.
Okay. All right, very good. Any other thoughts, Luis? Did you want to verbalize something?
Yeah, I just wanted to be clear. If we know the root source of this incident, like what happened, if it was maybe a commit or some new exchanges that created this scenario.
I think there was an MR recently that was committed. I found it. Let me grab it real quick. And somebody not on our team who was the author of that MR said, yes, I think that is it. Here it is. I'm just going to link you to, I'm going to link you to the Slack conversation so you can view this. But I think it's that MR that, who is this team member? A backend engineer on configure committed recently. So you can take a look.
And other extra comments will be what would be required to not allow these events to be added dynamically. What are the technical requirements about Alina suggestions? Because if it's a really small implementation, we should do it.
Okay,
so
my initial guess was wrong. I have a better idea now. Basically the problem is we're just getting a lot of errors in Sentry because looking at the MR, I think what happened is this MR says they want to track 100 CI templates. And so I think what they're doing is they're adding the configuration for 100 Redis counters. They have some weekly and some monthly. But then in the issue, it's some high rate of unknown event errors. So I guess what that means is there are other CI template names that they didn't account for. So they're not actually being stored in Redis. The unknown ones are just generating a lot of errors. And I guess that just creates noise for us because there's nothing we can really do about these errors.
what's the right way to have implemented this to prevent it? It's okay if you don't have an answer.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But even that said, the fix is not on us, right? It would be on the engineering team that implemented this, or would it be on us?
Not sure about that. Like on their side, I guess they could do a check before adding some data to the HLL counter to make sure it's valid, like the counter actually exists, and that would prevent this error. On our side, we could, I don't know, we could maybe have some kind of check before firing this error.
Is there like a
I'm
review,
not sure what we would check.
like a validation step in the review of the MRs that we can add for any changes to the Redis code?
I believe we do check that.
Okay, well, we don't have the solution on this call. I think it's a good good discussion to kick off. And I think if you want to continue to collaborate, go ahead and do it on the bug issue. Let's see who the bug issue is assigned to. Is it assigned to us or to the other team? It's assigned to the other team. So go ahead and just, if you have ideas for this specific issue, add it to the issue. But if you have ideas for how we could prevent such a thing, go ahead and open an issue and tag me, and we can collaborate on it. And I can assign it if there is something actionable that comes out of the collaboration. All right. Moving on, unless you want to, anybody has any other thoughts? Okay, number 3, Alina, not on the call, FYI. Second fix for missing addition of version in servicing payload. With this MR, we fix data in both usage data and raw usage data table. This will not fix old data. The data we receive from now on will be fixed. So it's just an FYI that moving forward, we'll start to collect addition and version. Not sure why we weren't doing that. Oh, because it wasn't required, I think, originally, the way we set things up. Okay, number 4, anything on 3 before I move on? No? Okay, number 4. Heads up that I'm going to create a technical spike. Depending upon room, it'll either be in 14.5 or 14.6. But I'm going to start looking for opportunities like this. The snowplow maintenance epic is nice because it gives us a place to kind of dump all the things that we need to do in one location and not lose it. But it also, I used this analogy earlier with Nicholas, it also acts as like a really inefficient closet. It's kind of like you're cleaning up before your company comes to visit. You throw everything in the closet, but when you open the closet, it all falls and you can't find anything. That's what's happening with this epic. And so what I would like to do with the epic is break it down into actionable sub-epics. I want to say, okay, well, what is the most important thing we want to do as it relates to snowplow, taking it to the next level, right? And what's that theme? Is it making it more robust? Is it completing the dictionary? Is it, whatever the theme might be, collect all of the related issues under that sub-epic, and then break up the rest of the issues underneath that epic into the next versions. Version 2 is going to be this thing. Version 3 is going to be this thing. Eventually, we're going to have just 1Z, 2Z issues that aren't related to something else. It's just like a one-off, and we don't have to create epics for it anymore. And we'll just schedule that as normal. But this will be my attempt to bring organization to the epic, but also give me a path for prioritization. So I know that whichever one you say is the most important, that's the one I'm going to schedule against until it's closed. Then I'm going to go to the next one, schedule it until it's closed, and so forth. So I'm going to start with snowplow maintenance. We will create a technical spike and assign it to a single DRI in a milestone to own that project to create the organization. I will look for more opportunities to do such things for anything that isn't already on our roadmap, but is still open. So if we have epics that are open that have good, important work, but it's not on the product roadmap, I'm going to make sure that there's organization and then start assigning to milestones so we can get it closed out. Okay, number 5, Luis.
Just wanted to remember you that we still have the technical writing training for the growth team, so that would need to be like finished before October 2nd. Today we received Wayne's ping. So for the people that didn't finish yet, it's just a reminder in case that any of you are still that bent.
That's great. That's a helpful reminder. Okay, anything else? I think if you haven't seen it, let me link to it. We have the weekly team. What's it called? Weekly team. It's an issue. Product intelligence weekly. There it is. Team update. I'm going to link to it. So if you didn't see this week's issue, please take a look. And I think there's a poll asking for your feedback. So just a shout out to make sure you do that. Team update. Okay, added to the agenda. Great. If nobody has anything else, we can go ahead and call it, and I will post the recording in, I don't know where these recordings go, but I'll find it and I'll post it. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.